What the French toast? What the French toast? Haters mad and they still trying to do the most.
The third lesson that I learned from dating while being a simp back in my college days was that playing hard to get gentlemen works in your favor. Women are actually great at this because they take 2 to 3 months to solidify their feelings about you. They're taking 3 months to do their vetting to make sure that you are the right choice for them. And what most men do is after 2 or 3 dates, they're ready to wipe this woman up and dump all the other girls they're seeing. And then they don't understand why the woman is no longer attracted. Well, maybe it's because you're putting all this energy on her that's indicating to her you're ready for a relationship. And more importantly, you're easily accessible all the time. She texts you up, you're ready to answer right away. Even if you're at work, you'll go out of a meeting to be able to make sure that you're getting that text back. If she says, let's hang out today, tonight, tomorrow, the next day, you're like, I'm available all those days. And when that happens, what happens typically is relationship burnout. And I've talked about that on the show before too, I'm sure you've probably experienced the thing of like, you meet a girl, you're having a great rapport, you take her out on a couple of dates, you're texting nonstop back and forth, you take her out 3 times that first week, and by the second week, you don't know what's going on. You just know she's pulling away, she's not texting you as much, and now when you ask her out, she's suddenly busy. What happened? Flame out. You were there, you were easily accessible, and it was too much too soon, and she got tired of you. And when I was in my college years, I kind of dabbled this by mistake because again, I had my blinders on. I wasn't always noticeable of the women around me that had crushes on me. So there was one woman that I was actually tutoring back in my freshman year. And I had seen her the summer before when we were at pre-college. And there was kind of a vibe there. When we got to school that year, I heard she had a boyfriend. At some point during that first semester, they had broken up because she was in college and he was like 5 states away. So I started tutoring her though, and I'm thinking, okay, she just got out of a relationship and she has an ex or whatever, and so I don't want to rock the boat, so I'm just gonna like tutor her and that's it. So I tutored her like 2 times a week, and what started to happen was she would call to hang out. She would randomly stop by my dorm just to see if I was there to say hi, I wanted to see what's going on, and blinders. I wasn't taking into account that that meant that she was actually interested, but because I didn't know that, what was I not doing? I wasn't trying to call her all the time. I wasn't trying to text her nonstop. I wasn't trying to have any extra interactions with her other than just us studying together. And so that meant that now she had to work for my attention. If she saw me in the cafeteria, she had to come over to me. If she wanted to see more of me, she had to call my dorm and say, hey, let's go for a walk around campus. Didn't catch any of that until like towards the end of the year. I was just like, oh, crap. She probably liked me. And by that point, I think her and her ex got back together. So it was too late. But that's when I started to recognize that, oh, because then after that happened, I would be dating girls sporadically throughout my college years. And sure enough, I'd have attraction. I'd start hitting them up. And then I'd start hitting them up too much. And then I'd be anxious that they weren't responding right away. So I'd start writing poems and writing these letters about all this yada, yada, yada. And next thing you know, they'd no longer be interested because I was there too much. And what really taught me this was actually, there was this woman that I had a crush on my junior year. It was just one of the women that like caused me to start looking up stuff, right? So my junior year of college, I knew this woman had a crush on me, but I wasn't making any moves. And there would be things like she would invite me over to her place to watch some TV, and then she'd be looking at me as she's about to go to bed like, well, I guess I'm going to go to bed now. Linger, linger, linger. And I'd be like, okay, well, I'm going to go. Not knowing that was a signal like, if you want to stay, you want to cuddle up. Because as a guy, women are going to still expect you to be dominant. Even if they're coming up to the line of making the majority of the moves, it's going to be like these passive things like, hey, I'm going to invite you to my place. We're going to sit on the couch. I'm going to sit close to you. I'm going to say, well, it's getting late. I might be going to bed soon. And then at that point, usually the guy is supposed to just recognize, oh, it's time for me to like say, let's go to your room and do some stuff. And so anyway, it got to a point where finally one of our mutual friends told her like, oh yeah, Harry likes you. And then I tried to call her and say, hey, so just, I really like you. Again, simp behavior. And she was like, oh yeah, I kind of knew that you liked me. And, I could tell from blah, 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 this and that. But she wasn't saying, now we can like go on a date. Now we can get together. And from that point, I was just trying to call more. I was trying to talk to her in class more. I think I got her an album for Christmas that she had mentioned that she was a fan of a certain artist. I think it was like Janet Jackson. So I got her a Janet Jackson album for Christmas, and she was just like, oh, thanks, like whatever, right? So I go away on this. So I'm there too much. And I go away on this 5-month play thing, right? And I start studying up on people like Doc Love and David D'Angelo and these other people. And one of the things that Doc Love said was like, hey, like that's what I learned about the whole no contact rule of like, if this other person's not trying to talk to you or reach out, then just like stop. And here's the important thing. Here's the important lesson, by the way, about no contact. I see a lot of people getting this wrong, right? Is that the idea of no contact is not that I'm going to go no contact for a month, then I'm going to like reach out to her and see what she feels about that or whatever. Like no contact is supposed to be like designed to like, you're legitimately walking away. Like you're basically subconsciously saying, I don't want to deal with this behavior. And more importantly, if they're starting to pull away anyway, then they're already kind of doing no contact first. So you doing no contact, it's supposed to be, I'm doing no contact because she's not seeming to want to be around me. And so I don't want to give her any more energy or attention. And also no contact is designed for you to go focus on other women that are out there that maybe will want to contact you. Now, but the side effect of no contact, what the side effects can be is that over time, that person starts to realize you're not applying as much pressure as you were before, which allows them to get back to the state of like, well, I actually kind of like that guy. When he's not pressuring me, I'm thinking back on the good times, and I wish I could have more of these good times with him without the pressure that he brought before. But now that he's not pressuring me, maybe this could be a thing. And then so at that point, with no contact, of their own accord, they'll start to reach out to you, at which point you have to know the moves to make in order to get them into your good graces. If you go to introvertdatingsuccess.com and join the Introvert Dating Success Membership Academy, I talk all about how to do that. But the point is, so when I was doing this play, I was still writing some of my friends by email that were back at the school. And then we'd sporadically have breaks off from the play where I could drive down to my school and visit some of my friends. And so I just made it a point during those 5 months not to write her. I didn't contact her. When I would go to the school, I wouldn't try to seek her out. And there would be a couple of times when I would see her because we were in the same theater program. And there was like, I went there one time and they had just finished up a play. And one of the other girls was like, hey, we're going to all be having this dinner at this restaurant. Do you want to come? I said, sure. So I show up at the restaurant and she's there. And again, I'm feeling all kinds of hurt and she hasn't reached out to me. And she was, being so in my head nasty to me before I left, yada, yada, yada. I didn't bring any of that energy. I came to the dinner. She was there. I said, oh, hey, what's going on? So-and-so. And then I sat like somewhere else that was on the table, but not the same. But like, yeah. And then she would sporadically come over to me. Hey, so how you doing? And, how's the play going? And yada, yada. Oh, I'm doing it's going great. It's been fun times. And I did mention I was like emailing some of the other people back and forth, yada, yada, yada. But then I go back out on the road, wouldn't talk to her. The end of that 5 months, when I tell you, she reached out to me, said, hey, how'd your play go? I hope you had a good time, this and that. And then at that point, so she's reaching out to me now, right? And when I tell you, I was going to be going down there for something and I hit her up like, hey, I'm going to be in the area. If you want to meet up for like, whatever, just let me know. Instant response back. Keep in mind, beforehand, this chick was not trying to contact me at all. I would call her and she wouldn't answer back. Now it's like right away, oh, hey, I'd love to see you. What's it? So I go out there to do something else. And then I go to pick her up from her apartment and she opens the door. And when I tell you, she was in some of the sexiest night robe I have ever seen in my life. Like it was like a full silk gown type of thing. Comes to the door looking all sexy, like, hey, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. Now, again, this is my simp phase, guys. So my simp phase, when this was happening, I was just like, this must just be her like Saturday night, like her Saturday wear when she's at home. So acted like she wasn't trying to do nothing. In hindsight, she was definitely trying to do some stuff. But the point is, why was she trying to do stuff then? Because I wasn't giving her all this attention. To her, it's now like I'm playing hard to get. I'm not as easily tempted by her as I was before. And now I'm a challenge. And now she has to, in her own head, prove herself as if she can still be sexy to me and it possibly lead to stuff. I was still simping, so it didn't. But that's what I learned in hindsight was that, so I don't need to be so, if I'm not so easily accessible, women will recognize they have to work for my attention. And if they have a high interest in me, they will actually do it because they don't want to lose me. So some of you all are out there and you're attracting women and you're still in this mindset of, I got to text her all the time or she's going to feel some kind of way about it. I got to ask her out nonstop or she's going to feel some kind of way about it. And I'm telling you, women will get with your program. If you decide you want to wait 4 days between dates to contact her, then women that are highly interested will just accept it and wait. Or if they're really anxious, they're not going to hit you up and berate you with, you should have texted me and blah, blah, blah. No, they're going to hit you up very sweetly like, hey, just want to see how you're doing. Hope you're having a good day. I'm thinking about you. Or they'll hit you up, hey, so, I was hoping to see you sometime this week. What are you doing tomorrow? Like, they'll start hitting you up for dates, because when you're not so easily accessible and they're starting to wonder, like, how do I get to see him more? They, of their own accord, will come to you and start asking you for dates and volunteer to pay for stuff and volunteer to come over and cook you dinner and maybe stay over for a movie night or other things. But that's only going to happen if you're applying patience. And by the way, playing hard to get is not playing games. It's simply adding patience to your game to where you're moving a little bit slower than she is, because most women have the problem of dating guys that are moving faster than them. So, after that first date, the guy gets into the car and is texting her right away and trying to ask her out again right away. That's too fast. Whereas if you're waiting a couple of days to call her and you're patient between your dates and when you ask her out, that's moving slow enough to where she has to come to you in order to make these things happen. And as I always say, if she's chasing you, she can't be replacing you.
Call this beat Will Smith, cause it slaps hard. Here